Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the CCA Season 5. This is currently Week 4. Tonight, we have a match between We Aquatic Little Creatures out of Purdue University, West Lafayette, and the UCF Error-Nautics. I am Riffy, and I am joined by DRF today.
Hello.
It looks like we have all 8 players in the room. Just going to get some other things set up, as we are going to start off on Tower Control Ship Shape on this Week 4 in the CCA. So this is a map that, in my opinion, is very snowbally, so it can definitely be a bit more challenging, from a mental perspective, just trying to deal with, okay, the enemy just scored a lot of points on us. How do we recover from that? How can we make the big pushes that we need? And just this sort of game in Tower Control, but it's especially true on Ship Shape.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if they realize this is the wrong map mode, unless we are wrong.
I believe that is Flat Zones on Mahi. I believe we could be playing another week's reschedule.
That's what I'm checking real quick. I don't think that's accurate. Okay, and someone disconnected, so...
Okay.
So a bit of a delayed start here, but it's all good. We'll go ahead and get this sorted out real quick. And there we go. Okay, so we're going to change the map mode. We're going to switch players around. So a bit of a miscommunication to start this one off. But hey, you know what? That's how it goes sometimes. Maybe they just wanted to kick back poolside a little bit. No one wants to spend time on a ship in the middle of an ocean shipping cargo.
Yeah, especially given this year's April has definitely been a lot colder. I could definitely go for just relaxing at a nice warm place like Mahi Resort, floating on one of those like little tube things with the jellies.
Oh, certainly. Well, we'll get this one going for sure in just a moment. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about these teams in depth here. So as we had mentioned, this is going to be Walk out of Purdue University taking on the University of Central Florida's Error-Nautics. So both of these teams off to a somewhat promising start here, as Walk does start off the season with that 2-1 record, only dropping set to Splatlanders, which I believe the Error-Nautics is in that same boat here. Both teams, their only losses is to Splatlanders, which honestly, I think says a lot about the type of team that Splatlanders has put together this season, as they are at the top of their group right now. But both of these teams, this is such a crucial set for them, as this will really set the tone for fighting for that position in to make playoffs. Because right now it seems like it's going to be a fight for that second seed in this group.
100% DRF. Definitely interested to see the different keys to victory that we have for both of these teams. So starting off with Walk, we have keeping aggression up, taking key positions, and what I'm most interested in is using their retake specials consecutively. So sort of layering on the pressure, making sure that you have enough resources to get your team in. The UCF Error-Nautics, their number one key to victory is going to be their mental game. As I mentioned earlier, very important on TC Ship Shape. They also want to maintain a good team shape when pushing or defending, and painting defensively. So definitely interested to see how these teams utilize their keys to victory in this first map.
Well, speaking of, it is time for our first map of the game. So let's dive on in here. Tower Control Ship Shape Cargo Co. Let's take a look at these compositions, and gonna be okay. Interesting mirror match here, actually, that I was not expecting. I feel like pencils are somewhat to be expected, but was not expecting the range blaster mirror match.
Even though I'm not a blaster player myself, I do really like the combination of the Snipe Rider with the Tacticaler plus the range blaster. As we see, UCF Error-Nautics going to be poking around with this range blaster, already finding a pick, as it's going to be 3-3 right now. This blaster just poking around this left side as I believe the last Walk is also doing the same, trying to potentially engage in a duel here as the blaster will go down from UCF Error-Nautics as Walk starts their push.
Yeah, and okay, Elixir diving with the pencil there to get the quick pick, somehow gonna trade out there actually, and they are now, it's gonna actually be Walk that gets first push here. They're gonna be proceeding forward all the way to 50 points remaining. Seems like they're going to stall just a little bit, but Electronic doing a great job here, just trying to keep this tower forward. And that's honestly one of the biggest things that you need to be able to do here as the offensive team. Is like, you don't need to like be riding the tower the entire time, but keeping the tower in an aggressive position is what's going to allow you to have sustained control of mid and keep this tower moving to quickly add more points to the board.
Absolutely. We just saw the crab tank from Electronic, who unfortunately just went down there. But again, having those resources is really important, especially on this map. As we've seen now, one going down to the Wavebreaker, I believe that was, as UCF Error-Nautics potentially going to back up a bit here. I believe that's Peace from UCF Error-Nautics. Almost finding a pick on that range blaster, as Walk still continuing to put on the pressure, but will lose their dualies in the process.
Yeah, it seems like that they will. So this game just continuing to be a bit stally at this stage. It seems like Error-Nautics is doing a great job of getting back into mid each time, but has not been able to convert it into a sustainable push yet. Because it's every time they finally work their way back into mid, someone on the side of Walk is able to come up big and get a couple of picks that quickly keeps the tower in their control. And this crab is going to be massive now. Yeah,
that 3 down was just huge for Walk. And now they have the tactical, so you know that they can just push this using the snowballing nature of this map. They're going to also have the Booyah Bomb, so definitely a good spot to be in if you're Walk.
Absolutely. As that second checkpoint gets cleared, it seems like this tower is once again going to stall. But look, it's Electronic and Clover that are where they definitely aren't supposed to be. And finally, it seems like Walk is going to go 3 down. UCF Error-Nautics gets a chance to breathe just a little bit. And that's such a make or break position right there. 14 points remaining. Typically, like you had said, Riffy, this is a very snowbally map, so things can go south very quickly after that second checkpoint, and a lot of times it seems like the match is over, but credit to Error-Nautics there for keeping this one together and now going to give themselves 2 minutes here to try and come back.
100%, as they're going to get 2 down themselves, and Elixir going to go in with the pencil a little bit, but going to use that tactical or jump out. But I'm really interested to see in UCF Error-Nautics how they're going to utilize that Trizuka, because you know, you have 2 Trizukas, you have 2 Blacker Shots. They're going to get a lot of Trizukas in this game. And if they're able to, again, stagger those, making sure they're using those at the right time, I think that they can easily tie or get past their feet. But unfortunately, 2 going down on the side of Error-Nautics, that's 3 going down. Elixir will fortunately get the jump out as Walk looking to make yet another offensive push.
Yeah, a great stop there in response by Walk. But Error-Nautics did a great job there. They made this a very close game suddenly, but they still have that entire second checkpoint to break through. That's going to be a big hurdle that they're going to have to overcome here in the closing 30 seconds. And with the numbers not in their favor right now, it's going to be a bit of a tall order to work with.
Yeah, especially with this crab tank, but will get shut down by the range blaster. And it will have that Trizuka, but going to have to be forced to back out. Not going to opt to use it just yet, as they're waiting for the rest of UCF to get in position to retake.
Ooh, a Pisto, nice pick there. Elixir trying to fall back, but wasn't able to get back in time. And now, with this Cooler going to come out, try to enable the team to just quickly hop on this tower. But UCF holds control here, and the Booyah Bomb makes it a quick GG there. Walk taking game number 1.
Definitely a very nice thing to see from both teams. Again, this is a very snowbally map, so it was definitely good to see both teams with some good defensive holds. And also, I really enjoyed seeing the crab tanks from Walk. I think that even though the crab did end up going down there in that one situation, I thought that that crab tank just being able to have that gigantic hitbox, have that gigantic like wall of HP on the tower, just allowed Walk to get those really extended pushes and be able to just win over the UCF Error-Nautics. But serious props to UCF Error-Nautics. Definitely saw some excellent Trizuka shots. Definitely good sense of, okay, we need to back out, we need to push in. Overall, good awareness of what to do in that situation.
Absolutely. So we're going to be pivoting over to game number 2, Rainmaker on Undertow Spillway. I think you were very right to point out there. I think that the composition that Walk had come out with there was just super aggressive, and it gave them the upper hand for the first 3 minutes of that game. So I think, it could also just be game 1 jitters a little bit, as we saw the University of Central Florida have to make those quick adjustments. I think they started to figure it out there towards the back end of the game, but by that point, it was just too little too late. The lead had already ballooned so much there, and they needed to come up with a massive snowball push themselves. So I do like game 2 here for UCF Error-Nautics. I think that they've started to settle themselves in a little bit better, and with this one also being a little more momentum based, I think the promising finish to that last game could work out in their favor here. So again, as we kind of talked about those keys to victory, it's maintaining that mental game and keeping your team together as well when pushing or defending. So if they can just keep together as a unit, I think this could be a promising outlook for them.
Absolutely. I definitely want to see how they sort of interact with the way that the 2 routes work in this map, because you have that sort of short breakaway, but if you're not going the short breakaway route, you could potentially use the railways there as a flank. And, if we do see that, it could be very interesting to see how sort of a team works as a well-oiled machine in making sure that flanks and off angles come out at the right opportune times.
Certainly. And we're going to be diving on into this one. Veckel coming out with that tent umbrella. Andrew switching over to that 52 gal. So just a couple of adjustments here on either side. We're going to go ahead and keep the pencils and range blasters for both of these teams, though. It seems like that this is going to be kind of a key mirror match 2v2 here throughout this entire set.
Yeah, definitely interested, again, to see that tent umbrella pick come out for the side of Walk. But gonna unfortunately get shut down by this Knight Rider plus Trizuka combo, as UCF Error-Nautics going to opt to take the left route, will face some crossfire from that Trizuka, but is just going to keep it slow and steady, make sure that their Rainmaker carrier Elixir is alive, as they're going to make it to the 75 before getting taken down.
Oh, and this push is still on here, as it seems like they're going to go, UCF's going to break that shield, and somehow I think Elixir jumped in. Frontline pencil. Elixir's just been so aggro here, and it seems like this Rainmaker push might be dead in the water. Yes, it is, and it doesn't seem like UCF is in a position to keep this one going at this stage, but, I think
nice
Veckel came up massive there with that Zuka.
Yeah, I love to see the Trizuka from that kind of umbrella. Obviously, Trizuka maybe not people's favorite right now in the meta, but seeing it on that tent umbrella was really nice to see. As another Trizuka comes out on the side of UCF, as looks like the Rainmaker coming out with a massive double. Can they make it a triple? Unfortunately, not. But Elixir doing a good job of defending with Jal Dizzy as they keep their lead.
Wow, I don't know how Pisto came up with those 2 picks there, and now it's back and forth between these 2 teams, pick for pick. It's an absolute bloodbath in mid right now, as this is merely a 6-point game, 2 minutes gone. Neither team has quite touched the pedestal, made some small pushes here and there, but someone's gonna have to come up with a breakthrough sooner or later, and this might be the opportunity with 2 down on the side of Walk.
But here comes the Trizuka, going to get canceled. That is huge for UCF Aeronautics. That is one less defensive thing they have to worry about from Walk. But they go 3 down as they try to enter the pedestal region.
Oh, yeah. And so at the very least, someone's touched a pedestal now, halfway through this game, but it seems like this is going to more or less remain a low-scoring affair between these two teams. Both teams just playing so defensively at this stage, just trying to not make any unforced errors and wait for the other team to kind of walk into their laps here. So, and you know, I certainly can't blame them either, especially after that last game where things just felt very aggressive, the pace slowing down significantly here for both of these two teams, as Walk once again finding themselves going 2 down. This could be an opportunity for UCF to finally look for that checkpoint.
Walk will have the crab tank though, which was a very important resource for them. They're going to pop it right now, I believe, as it's going to be positioned near that checkpoint, just trying to buy as much time as they can, but will get eventually taken down. Electronic is still alive, going to find the pick on the Rainmaker, but UCF Aeronautics going to break the checkpoint. Jaldizi and Elixir looking for this pop. They're going to have the Trizuka, but it's going to end up in a trade.
Okay, I got excited there for a second as one member from each team had jumped into basically the exact same spot. I was really curious to see how that was gonna go down, but both players quickly backed up and was like, yeah, this isn't a great situation. 1 minute to play though, as UCF Aeronautics does get about 14 more points after the checkpoint here. That's gonna do them some pretty put them in a pretty good spot here, as they are also continuing to hold this position here. Jal Dizzy is trying to grab this Rainmaker, but is gonna opt to play it safe, keep the numbers on their team's side, and this Rainmaker will reset.
Excellent job from UCF Aeronautics, just realizing that, you know, hey, if we can just get picks, even if they're trades, then they're still going to be in our advantage, because as you can see on your screen right now, it's just a lot of pain in mid and somewhat in near the side of Walk. UCF Aeronautics, again, those skis to victory, doing a great job of keeping up that defensive pain.
Absolutely. 10 seconds to go. 2 down on the side of Walk. Make it 3. Apisto's the last one standing, trying to get jumps in for their team, but nobody's near this Rainmaker to keep this one alive. UCF definitely playing a little bit dangerous there by picking up that Rainmaker, but they survive. They will take game number 2 and even up this set.
You love to see it. Definitely really enjoyed seeing the combination of the Snipe Rider and the and Jaldizi splatter shot, just sort of taking those crossfire angles, sort of positioning themselves in a way that can sort of cover a lot of space, and doing that in basically the latter half of the game was, in my opinion, what really sealed the deal for UCF Aeronautics. But Walk definitely also had their moments. I loved seeing those Trizuka shots out from the Tenebrella. Again, the crab tank, they had that defensive pressure that prevented UCF Aeronautics from getting the knockout.
Certainly. And while I don't think the tent worked out for them here in game number 2, I would really like to see it come back here, because game number 3 will be Clamblitz on Umami. And this is definitely one of the more awkward Clamblitz maps, but I think being able to utilize something like a Tentebrella to enable your pushes, especially because of how feisty it can get right around the basket, as you're trying to just come around the corner to get within striking distance. You know, having something like a tent can really open things up for your team. So I'm really looking forward to Veckel possibly bringing that back.
Wholeheartedly agree. As you said, DRF, Clamblitz on Umami is, to be frank, not my favorite of the Clamblitz maps because of the choke point that you sort of have to get through in order to score. But again, I really think that a Tenebrella could be either on retake or when you're attacking the thing that makes the difference in this game.
Well, let's take a look at these compositions though, as we are tied up at 1 game apiece, heading on into game number 3. It looks like the tent umbrella is back. Walk's actually going to just keep that composition entirely intact, but Error-Nautics really changing it up this time. I think Andrew might be the only person that did not change weapons here.
Yeah, UCF Error-Nautics going with the tried and true Tacticooler plus Kraken strategy here, as Elixir going to switch over to the newly released custom E-Leader. UCF Error-Nautics already finding picks, getting really nice map control out with the Gal and the Gray Enzak, as UCF Error-Nautics now approaching their choke point, just looking for yet another pick to open this game up, as they do find 2 down right now, DRF.
Yes, and with 6 clams in Andrew's pocket right now, trying to get 1 more to bust this basket open, but can't seem to find a clam that they're looking for. Finally gets it there, plus a couple of picks. Andrew off to a hot start here in game number 3.
You'll love to see the Gal here, just using that shooter movement to their advantage, but eventually the push will get shut down by Walk as the basket goes down. As it's going to be a 3-down situation now. Walk has the picks, now they need to find the paint that they need, as well as making sure that their clam economy is in their favor, as they're also going to have the Crab Tank and the Wave Breaker to potentially set up this next push, zone the enemies out, but unfortunately the Crab Tank going down.
Yeah, but they were cool it up, so they will keep that Crab Tank. And now this Brella trying to find something, able to get the pick, but will end up trading out instead, as Elixir actually was the one that got that pick. So 2 down, make it 3 on the side of Walker. Peace, though, going to have to hold the defensive front here, as it seems like Error-Nautics, fortunately for Walk, does not have the clams to get a push going, so they're going to play from mid here, try to wait for the next team fight. If they can win it, they can get a massive score off, but it's going to be a couple of trades here. The Inkjet coming out as well, trying to cause some havoc, able to pick off those dualies, and it seems like UCF Error-Nautics inching closer and closer to another push, and here we go.
Andrew finding the snake, but unfortunately will get taken down, as Walk doing a great job of painting up after their basket got broken, as they're going to find the pick on that custom E-Leader. That's a very important pick to find, especially given, Elixir was shutting them down earlier as the Tacticooler comes out.
Certainly, and it seems like Walk trying to get control of mid here, in a decent position to do so, but Error-Nautics popping those killer whales, trying to slow down this Walk push right now. And it seems like we are just in a little bit of a stalemate at this stage. Whoever's going to go down first here might really break things open, and it's going to be Walk coming up with 3 massive picks here.
What a way to turn the tides of the game from Walk. They were just able to completely switch the clam economy as well. Unfortunately, it looks like they won't be able to take the lead here, but what's even more important is that they just have so much paint in their color right now, as they have the ability to just make another ball with the paint coverage that they have, just reopen this basket. I see another power clam actually on the side, as the dualies getting a double, as Walk will take the lead.
Yes, they will. A massive push there, but it seems like they will go ahead and surrender the basket for now. They got the job done. Massive push there. So after a couple of one and dones from both sides, it's Walk who gets a much bigger push off first. And with a minute 10 to go, UCF Error-Nautics looking to respond quickly, as they have 3 specials online here, plus 15 clams in their pocket. And with 2 members going down, Error-Nautics is ready to go.
Yeah, the Jetpack, I believe, already found 2 or 3 picks. Elixir is just going to be able to pop that Kraken, get the clam basket in, as this is turning into a very high-scoring, very aggressive game from both teams. Elixir, unfortunately, not going to be able to find any picks, but UCF Error-Nautics will be able to take the lead.
And Andrew trying to put some fadeaway jumpers in there, but not going to be able to hit the basket. But Error-Nautics does respond late in this one. It is a very, very close game. 11 points separate these two teams after what was a big stalemate between the two. And with 20 seconds to go, Walk has an opportunity to respond. 2 power cleanses in their pockets. That is enough to get them the lead. They have to nail both, though.
They did get that key pick on the NZAP, and that means that UCF Error-Nautics, they're not going to be able to have a cooler, which means that this momentum is going to be in your favor. But unfortunately, they lose 2 members in the process. So UCF Error-Nautics did a good job of recovering from their loss of the NZAP.
Oh, and the dualies get taken down. It's not looking good for Walk at this stage, and they're gonna have to run it down pretty much at this point. At least they're doing a great job of just staying alive, trying to buy their team some time, but it's not going to be enough as UCF Error-Nautics takes the lead now in this set, going up 2-1.
Definitely a bit of surprise in my opinion. Just seeing how aggressive that game became between both of those teams, just how high scoring it became in the latter half. We saw in the beginning both teams trying to figure each other out, just trying to poke, find their specials, as you typically do in Splatoon 3. But eventually, it just became a back and forth of just once those teams had the specials and once teams were able to just gather up the opponent's plans, it just became an absolute bloodbath, basically, on both sides.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It was a little bit slow early on, but as soon as all hell broke loose, it did. So a massive push from both of those teams. They're doing a great job of just kind of going punch for punch here with each other. And so far, it's just been whoever's come up with the slightly bigger push. That's it. Like neither team has, had full control of either of these games yet, and it's really been down to a game of inches thus far. So I feel like that's going to continue to be the way that this set is going to go. Game number 4, Splatzone's Mako Mart, though, could be the opportunity for one of these teams to take control of this set.
Wholeheartedly agree. Splatzone's Mako Mart, obviously a map that is generally favored a lot by the community, but it is something that unfortunately can be a bit prone to lockouts. So if one of these teams is able to potentially use their blaster player or use their anchor player to secure the zone and the area before it, I think that we could see, as you said, DRF, this map being a huge momentum boost for either team here.
Yeah, I will stand by that. And I would almost go as far to say that whoever wins this game is going to win the set. I think that's how big of a momentum shifter this can be, Splatzone's Mako Mart, especially after the first 3 games that we had, where it was, a lot of just little jabs at each other here. So I'll put it like this. If either team knocks out, they're winning the set. That's how I think this is going to go. If it ends up being the continuous back and forth that we have seen from the previous few games, then I could certainly see that the momentum's not really going to shift one way or another. But if there's a KO, I think that's who ultimately will win the whole thing here. I think that's just how important this game will be.
Definitely agree. Maybe not to that extent, but I definitely agree that this will just be a huge turning point, especially given this is generally seen as the midpoint being game 4 out of 7. But I'm also interested to see what the Slayers are going to run here, because you now have access to the 2 sides now. So that just opens up a lot more play styles if you're one of the Slayers on Walk or UCF.
Absolutely. Well, let's load on in here to game number 4, Splatzone's Mako Mart, taking a look at the compositions. Walk really liking this composition. They're going to stick with it. Meanwhile, it seems like UCF going to continue to bring out something new every game here, as Peace going to be bringing out the custom blaster now to shake things up with that triple splashdown, and that could come up big late in this game.
Walk already finding 2 picks, though, make that 3 from, I believe that was the range blaster Clover, as Walk now in a very advantageous position. They're going to have the Wave Breaker soon to snuff out where UCF Error-Nautics potentially are, and but also UCF Aeronautics going to have the Whale and the Trizuka to potentially retake this fight.
Absolutely, and here comes that triple splashdown, but not going to be able to flip the zone. Great effort there, though, by the Custom Blaster, and a huge effort here by Walk to try and keep control of this zone. I can't believe that this zone is not flipped yet.
Yeah, Walk still has the numbers up. UCF Aeronautics were 2 down for a moment, so Walk were just able to consistently find the picks that they needed to just prevent the zone from flipping and preventing that big penalty from being applied. As we see this Custom Blaster, 2/3 to the triple splashdown right now could potentially flip the zone, as they're going to go on a flank, potentially find this Snipe Rider, which is definitely going to be a nuisance on splat zones. Snipe Rider is very weak now, as going to trade out with that triple splashdown as they force a Pisto from Walk out of the stack.
Oh, that was huge, though. It seemed like things were starting to look really grim there for the Error-Nautics, but they finally come up big with that triple splashdown that had missed the first time. It came in clutch to help flip the zone here, and now they buy themselves some time. They do get some meaningful points on the board to start working their way towards closing this gap, but it's continuing to be Walk's game thus far. They have been off to a hot start in this one and are continuing to hold down the fort here, doing an excellent job chipping away at this massive penalty that they had acquired, and they're almost out of it, ready to try to get in knockout range.
P's going to push up finding a trade. Andrew's picks would have opened up this for UCF Aeronautics, as they're going to go on a flank, try to extend this push. They're going to find the pick as the Snipe Rider gets forced out of the middle of the map. Andrew looking to find this Stoolie pick, will get the pick on Electronic. Just going to continue to paint up, but a nice shot from the Snipe Rider. As we're going to see the Tactical and some jumps come in from Error-Nautics, but it gets shut down by the Blaster on Walk.
Oh, and it looks like Walk is back in charge here, as they are going to start to push up a fair bit, but it seems like every single time for Walk, though, they do a great job getting in position, but they go an inch too far, and that allows UCF to get a pick and work their way back into the zone. So that could be something to continue to watch out for here, but they get the 3 down. That's massive.
That Zuka jump scare was just huge from Walk, as now they're basically done with their penalty. Only 15 points remain, as UCF Aeronautics, they're going to need a special here. They're going to need something to potentially flip this zone. They're going to find the Trizuka, but do they have the paint? Unfortunately, they will not, as Walk ties up this set yet again, 2-2.
Oh, that's all credit to Walk for putting in the work early in that game. They did such a good job of building up that lead, getting that massive push off in the opening minute, and that allowed them to be a little bit more aggressive there at the end, because every single time UCF managed to break their way into the zone, I don't know how, but they held on to that zone with an iron grip. A fantastic job. And at the end there, despite getting wiped out, they had done so well early on that it was just not going to be enough time for the University of Central Florida to neutralize that zone.
What a way to just, it was basically just a masterclass in how to utilize pain control in that situation, because you have the Snipe Rider, you have the shooters, and if you're able to just think of the game as sort of fighting on sort of a scale of, okay, how much pain control do I have, where are the choke points, where are the key positions that I need to paint up to make sure that my opponents are slowed down, then you'll be successful. And Walk did an excellent job of using the tools at their disposal to do just that.
Certainly. And we are guaranteed 2 more games here at the very least. So we will see Game 5 Tower Control on Inkblot Art Academy, followed by Game 6 Rainmaker on Museum d'Alfonsino, as these 2 teams are tied up at 2 games apiece. So And looking at these two teams right now, a little bit of a change up here, as it's actually UCF that's the first ones to ready up here. So I've found this to be an interesting pattern so far, where it seems like the team that drops the previous game is actually the first to ready up. Like, they have a game plan set. Like, they are just not gonna waver at all. It's just, hey, we lost that one, GG, go next. We are locked in for this next game. Let's get it going.
Absolutely. I definitely think that, you know, having that sort of attitude where every loss you have, you just have to brush off is definitely a very important skill to have in this game that goes beyond just the reactions and aiming and special management. It's something that I believe, I could be wrong on who I'm quoting this from, but to paraphrase Pop Gun, the best teams in terms of mental game, think of each game as a 0-0, starting off as 0-0. So just thinking of each game individually and just saying, all right, that was a game, we're going to go on to the next game.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree. You know, Popcorn is a wise man, and has some banger quotes. But let's dive on into this one here. So I think the only adjustment we are seeing here from that last game is UCF bringing out the double shot this time. They said, hey, everyone loves Zuka, right? let's double it up.
Yeah, the double Zuka was something that we saw, I believe, on PC Shipshape as well. As that aforementioned Zuka coming back out from Walk, I believe, actually, as Error-Nautics now. They're going to have both their Trizukas up just now. As one goes off, now Walk is 2 down because of that. As they're going to be forced to back out, as it's actually going to be 3 down on the side of Walk, as UCF Error-Nautics looking to find more paint control after Walk made their push.
Yeah, and Andu gonna find a fight here, getting surprised, and somehow wins out versus Electronic. I don't know how they got away with that one. Comes up with the second pick on Veckel, and now it's UCF that's actually looking for the lead here. 2 members down on the side of Walk, the lead changes, and the second checkpoint should fall with relative ease. UCF trying to break this one wide open.
Yeah, and this is definitely a situation where Walk is sort of entering as, I believe you put it, the oh-no zone, as UCF Error-Nautics, they have the passive special advantage as well, as, but eventually they will go 2 down. Andu firing the Trizuka unfortunately won't be able to find anything, as Walk able to get out of that dire situation, and they're going to also have the tactical soon as they look to match UCF Error-Nautics' large push.
I'm glad that the oh no zone has picked up here. But you're absolutely right though, that was kind of the last moment that Walk could stop that push before we enter that oh no zone and things just tumbled out of control. So credit to them for getting the stop when they absolutely needed it. And now they're going to buy themselves an opportunity here to push this tower. 2 members down, make it 3 down on the side of UCF. And now it's their opportunity to push up, start trying to get more points on the board, but it seemed like the shot there was trying to cause some havoc. Everyone trying to figure out where they went, slowing down their push significantly, but now it's just Dizzy, the last one standing. Electronic went up into the bats and took full control, getting a couple of picks. Now with the crab here, gonna go down. This second checkpoint will likely fall, but it's not gonna get much further than that. No, Clover not able to force it. A piece still gonna come in, quickly get the checkpoint and jump out. A great play to back up your teammate there.
Definitely an excellent job from UCF Error-Nautics, using those, as we saw in the RM Undertow game, just using those different lines of crossfire when you're recovering. Even though they didn't have many specials, they were still able to understand where they were able to position properly and just stop Walk's pushing its tracks. But here comes the Trizuka. Not going to find a pick quite yet, but Walk finding some paint control now. Going to be slated up for another push, but the Trizuka from Andy going to find 1, as pieces sharking on this left side, just poking, looking to put UCF Error-Nautics in another advantageous state.
Yeah, Pieces, I think, going to try to play the long con there. No, they're going to actually rotate back over to Flat, realizing that nobody from Walk is interested in that right-hand side. They're going to take this tower and try to get up into Bats now, but no, that's Dizzy that's going to come up big there, winning the 1v1, finding their way to the tower to stop this push in its tracks, and now looking to get another pick here. Electronic can go down. That's going to be a trade. 2 members down on the side of UCF. So Walk with an opportunity here with the wipeout now. 30 seconds to play. This is going to come down to the wire, folks.
Excellent placement of that tactic cooler from the Sniper Rider on Walk. Now all these front lines from Walk are going to be able to have the tactic cooler. If this push doesn't go 100% well, they're still going to be able to respawn. They're still going to be able to keep this push going into the 30s and the 20s as it's going to be the crab tank positioned on the tower, but it's going to be 2 down on the side of Walk as UCF Error-Nautics going to shut this push down.
Oh, do you see the person glitching on the tower? Sorry. Oh, sorry, that was really funny for a second there. But it will be the UCF Error-Nautics that come away with a big stop late to secure game number 5, putting them up 3 games to 2 there. So, once again, a game of inches for these teams. And UCF up, but it's just so close right now.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, that last game just was a game of inches. It was basically both teams showing off their offense and defense skills, and both teams definitely put up a good fight, just you know, making sure that they can collect themselves when they get wiped out, making sure that they have the specials that they need to find the picks that they need. Really, the only thing that it came down to was, again, like that last choke point near the 3rd checkpoint and the knockout space on Inkblot.
Yeah.
Which can definitely be a very difficult place to navigate through, especially, you know, if you're just a bunch of front lines just trying to fight on the tower. But definitely props to both teams for keeping up their defenses.
Certainly. And now UCF does find themselves up 3 games to 2 here at match point. So they're going to try to put this one away on Rainmaker Museum de Alfonsino. Walk trying to extend this one to a game 7. So again, we said that there was a lot on the line for these 2 teams as they are fighting for playoff positioning right now. Both teams had previously lost 2 Splatlanders who find themselves atop the group. So coming up with a win here will be huge for getting yourself in position to grab that 2nd seed in the group, barring, you know, Splatlanders' other sets right now. So nothing is out of the picture yet for either of these teams. Even if you lose this one, you're actually not out of the picture quite yet. Both teams have been off to a great start this season, with that Splatlander set aside, but the stakes are there nonetheless.
Absolutely. Both of these teams sort of definitely have gotten to know each other over these past 5 games, I feel. And they definitely have a lot to relate to losing to the Splatlanders, realizing sort of, hey, that was a tough loss, but we can recover from this. A new day's a new day, and we're just going to get right into it with Rainmaker on Museum de Alfonsino as 2 front lines from UCF are going to push up pretty aggressively, as it's going to be currently 3 and 3 on the board right now. But currently, UCF Error-Nautics will go 2 down. Elixir will opt to get the Rainmaker, but will get taken down by, I believe that is Electronic on those Splatballoons.
Oh, and Elixir had picked up the Rainmaker, backed up, and when they went down, that just opened things up for Walk here to get a quick and easy checkpoint. The wall that they had tried to put down there just did not come in time. So it's now Walk with the first checkpoint quickly in this game, trying to figure out a way to get more points on the board, but this Rainmaker is going to reset. Electronic's going to try to grab it and does so, somehow getting there just in time, and 3 down on either side. It's a 1v1.
Definitely an interesting 1v1 to see between the Sniper Rider and the Range Blaster, but eventually Sniper Rider is just going to opt to try and focus on the middle of the map as Walk currently finding way back onto Error-Nautics plat, but the whale from Andu will find the pick.
Yeah, and it seems like that Walk is going to go ahead and just settle with the score that they have for now, trying to keep control of mid, trying to get a couple of picks here as well to see if they can find their way back onto UCF's plat, but not going to be able to do so quite yet. Members going down on either side. Blasters just going down for both of these teams. Electronic coming up with a flank here, trying to see what they can do. Elixir going to be surprised here. They're going to go down, and now Electronic gets the second pick on Andu, make it a trade. 2-for-1 deal there. A great surprise by the dualies.
Excellent job from the dualies, just noticing, hey, my team is sort of in a skirmishing state right now. A whole lot's not going on, so I'm just going to just open up the battlefield with a flank and see where that takes us. And it ended up with 3 down as we're currently now in a 3-and-3 situation. Blixel pushing up here on the Sniper Rider as 1 going down on the side of Walk, 2 going down on the side of Walk. Could that be 3? Yes, it is. As UCF Error-Nautics going to make a statement with the checkpoint break.
Oh, huge play there. They're searching for the lead now. They will get it. Andu somehow swimming by, coming up with a lot of points here. They might get the knockout. It's a 1-point difference from this game being over. Walk saving the game after UCF comes up with a massive push there, but this is such a difficult uphill battle to climb. You almost never, I should say, see anyone come back from this kind of deficit on this map mode, but hey, they got the stop, and that's what they needed in the moment to keep themselves in it.
What a play from UCF Error-Nautics, but also Walk realized just clutching up in the most dire of situations as another cap tank going to come out, going to find a pick, could potentially find a pick on this Sniper Rider or their teammate. Won't do so just yet, but Electronic's still going to push in, still going to find a way to give Walk the opportunities to get a knockout.
Yeah, and it's going to, like we said, it is a bit of an uphill battle at this stage, just because Museum doesn't tend to be super high scoring for both teams. It's very stally early on, and normally if you do get the score that low, or that low remaining, a knockout is almost a sure thing. But with a minute to play, all Walk can do right now is just continue to play like they normally do. You just have to come up with big picks, try to get the wipeout, and give yourself that chance to get the knockout. It's certainly not going to be easy, but they're in it until that clock ticks 0, until Judd says this game is over, and they do find 2 picks here, which could get things started for them. Rainmaker going to miss the jump here, but that might actually be for the better to give themselves just a little bit of extra cover. 20 seconds to play. It seems like they're going to go ahead and play this one out to the end. It's going to be a knockout or nothing here for Walk. That's 3 down. The Zuka is out. 1 shot, 2 shot. The Zuka goes down. 2v2 at this stage. 30 seconds on this Rainmaker. Members jumping in for Walk, trying to keep this push alive. We will see overtime, and Walk trying their best to keep this Rainmaker carry alive. 22 ticks on the Rainmaker, trying to keep this one going. 2 down on the side of UCF. A member on the top left side. It's Elixir trying to get a snipe. They're going to go down. It's all UCF stagger at this point. 12 seconds to go. It's a knockout or nothing. Will Walk pull it off? They're running out of time. They need to hold forward. They might be able to get it.
Oh no, the Sniper Rider. Elixir on the Sniper Rider, just making the most out of those tap shots, will secure the deal for UCF Error-Nautics as they take the set 4-2 in a nail-biting last game.
Oh my goodness. Nail biting last game is an understatement there, Riffy. All the credit to both of these teams for putting on a show in that last one. Walk keeping it alive. They said, hey, we're gonna just run this one down. We're gonna win it here or lose it here. And it was so close. If they probably had an extra 10 seconds just to continue to play at the pace that they were for that extended push, I think that there is an opportunity for them to knock that one out. But honestly, the fact that they were that close is really, really impressive to me, because like I had said earlier in that game, you just don't see teams come back in that kind of situation, and they were this close to pulling it off.
Absolutely. I mean, as you said earlier in RM Museum, RM Museum is very much an uphill battle. So Walk, even though they lost the set, just did an excellent job of being consistent with the amount of picks that they were finding, and just keeping up the paint control, staying collected, even though they played potentially a little bit too slow, given they didn't get the knockout quite in time. They were still able to just keep themselves collected. Okay, we have picks, we can push forward, and boy, what an amazing way to put on a show on Rainmaker Museum.
Absolutely. That was so much fun though to watch. Both of these teams did so good in this set. We will go ahead and do the traditional CCA play all 7. This last game is just for the fun of it. But both of these teams should walk out of this set with their heads held high. I don't think I have ever felt that excited about a Rainmaker Museum game. I'm just not the biggest fan of that particular map mode. But those two teams have showed the potential of Rainmaker Museum and how exciting it can be. So huge credit to them both. But let's dive on into this fun play all 7 and see what these teams cook up.
Yeah, it looks like we're gonna see actually see Episto go over to the custom E-leader this time instead of Elixir, who is now opting for the Zeko Firefin charger. Pretty familiar stuff. Nothing crazy is being cooked up here in terms of comps. This is pretty much a lot of what we've seen already, but both teams going to be starting off in neutral here. UCF Error-Nautics will get the Tacticooler. They're going to get a pick onto Walk's Tacticooler user on that end zap, as now UCF Error-Nautics taking good control of this stack.
Yeah, I didn't even think that they were going to get that pick there, but hey, when you're a Pisto, you can get any pick you want. So it's a great start here for UCF. As they get a lot of control here, but the Kraken gonna come out and cause some havoc, scramble the UCF players, and that's gonna provide the opportunity now for Walk to get control of mid and start pushing up. They're in a great spot here to try to convert defense into offense.
Absolutely, and that is being signified really nicely with Electronic Scrap Tank, as they're going to find a pick, they're going to get a little bit of paint up, but unfortunately will go down to the Zeko Firefin, as Walk still looking to control this stack of UCF Error-Nautics. Using this Tenebrella to find a shield, potentially using it as a way in, combining it with this Trizuka now. One shot left, will unfortunately not find any picks. But here comes Clover onto the N-Zap, going to find a trade, but it's 2 down on the side of Walk. So UCF Error-Nautics going to be successful in their defense, as this game remains tied 0-0.
It is still tied. It can take a while for teams to get to the basket, but once the first score of the game happens, then you get a pretty good back and forth between the teams in terms of scoring, I feel. So it's not going to be a who strikes first type of situation wins the game. It's more or less just whoever strikes first is going to set the tone for the rest of the game. But when you're halfway through, that could mean a lot. But it's certainly, I think, just we're waiting at this point for one of these teams to strike first, and then that's going to allow both teams to find a bit more momentum, actually.
Absolutely. I definitely think that it'll come down to, again, layering the specials on top of one another. Just because of the way this map sort of functions with the stack and then the choke points, it's really essential that you're just not going in with nothing, and that you have the picks, you have the resources, like Walk is doing here, trying to find control of the stack with the Trizuka and Crab. Won't find it just yet, but the game will still remain in control.
It will, as both of these teams trying to find a way in. Veckel trying to push up a little bit. Apisto going to go ahead and pop the Kraken here, trying to get the Kraken cheese going, but the power clam carrier has to back all the way up. Great job by UCF to try and run it down to stop the Kraken cheese. The best way to counter it is to just run down the power clam carrier, but they did a great job of backing up and giving themselves the space to get the jump off. It's Walk that strikes first with a 1+2 here.
Nice job from Walk, but as they say, it's not over till it's over. UCF Error-Nautics will find one down, but as you said, DRF, the game has definitely opened up a bit more. So UCF Error-Nautics, they definitely have the opportunity to strike now. They have the consolation plan, if they need it, to just charge up a bit of special, get an advantage going. As we see this Rapid Blaster Deco currently poking at that snipe, not finding any picks just yet, going to potentially take a fight with this Trizuka, as they're going to go really aggressive, going to find the pick, but oh no, the Kraken is already there on the side of Walk, but will get shut down. The jump will get in, but will get canceled, so no more push for Walk just yet, as UCF Error-Nautics now has control of the stack that they need, as they're just looking for more, potentially this jetpack from the Rapid Blaster to get their team in once more and get a big push going.
Oh, and a nice move there by Andu to get the clams needed to get this basket open, but there's no follow-up. Elixir gonna try to rush in to get something in the basket, keep it open. They do, and it's actually gonna be Dizzy that comes in clutch here. The power clam as well is in, and with one more clam, UCF will go ahead and cap this one off. So a great push there by Error-Nautics to secure this friendly Game 7 between these two teams that have put on a show all night for us. So a great ending here for both of these squads.
100%. Definitely love seeing the just back and forth between every game. Just one team setting the tone, sort of, and then both teams deciding, okay, now there's points on the board. We're just going to, give it our all. We're just going to give it our best. We're just going to throw our specials. We're just going to keep up the aggression. And it definitely led to a very exciting set between both of these Division II teams.
Certainly. So a great show from both of them. Honestly, I at this point, I know it's week 4. We're like, I guess, halfway through the season as a whole, in terms of matches to be played. But I think just as a first half, what I have personally seen, commentated, produced, that Rainmaker Museum game is already at the top of my list for favorite individual games of the season. So that is one that I will personally remember for a long time. And the set as a whole just was phenomenal from start to finish. Neither team really dominated the other. It was always just tit for tat, jab for jab, and finally there, just right towards the end, it was a clutch situation, and UCF just got the edge there. So I don't think that this necessarily is like one team absolutely is better than the other here because it was so close in the majority of those games. So I would love to see these two teams go at it time and time again. And I feel like that in the long run, these teams can be pretty much even the entire way through.
100%. Definitely interested to see how these two teams potentially interact in the greater scheme of the CCA, right? Because we have things like even though it is an official CCA, we have the collegiate scrim circuit, we have just regular scrims, we have future seasons, future tournaments. I just love seeing how these matches sort of develop and sort of build not just rivalries, but also just ways to interact with other people who love the game of Splatoon at their college.
I couldn't agree more, Riffy. So congratulations, though, to UCF Error-Nautics for winning this set officially 4-2. So that's what it will go down in the record books as, and that elevates them to a 2-1 record. Walk will drop to 2-2, but neither team is out of this one quite yet. There is still a lot of Splatoon to be played within this group, within this division, so it will be a clutch race to the finish for all of these teams to try to get into those top 2 playoff spots. So, Riffy, let's go ahead and wrap this one up, though. Thank you so much for joining me today. Where can the people of our chat find you?
Absolutely. So, if you want to see some more of me, I'm also on Twitter at Riffy_SPL, all lowercase. I don't post or RT that often, but on the off chance that I do, there's potentially some Splatoon related content that you can see. And you can also find me here on Discord at Riffy_microtones.
Awesome. And as for myself, you can go and find me on Twitter at DRF_Splatoon and on Twitch at TritonDRF. But per usual, you can find me right here on the CCA channel covering all things collegiate Splatoon. Thank you all so much for joining us today on this CCA doubleheader. This has been DRF and Riffy. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Have a good night, folks. See you next time.